I gave up a long time ago. I'm trying to find love.
Hey guys, it's Chelsea with Austin Underground. I am sitting here with Jon Mclaughlin. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. We'll go ahead and get started. So your album, Like Us, just came out like the other day, October 9th.
A week ago today.
Yeah.
A week ago today, yeah.
How's that been for you?
It's been great. It's been, like, the response has been really great. I was really excited about this record, as I am with every one. But with this one, I kind of doubled down. I went back and worked with an old producer that I had worked with before, John Fields, who's a genius. Yeah. And I just felt really good about the album. And it's always nerve-wracking, like, putting an album out after you've sat there with the music and no one's heard it and you don't know if it's any good or not, but people are really digging it. So,
how do you know when the album is done and like you're ready to release it?
You don't really know. You always think you're gonna reach that point where you're like, okay, this is done. But Bruce Springsteen actually has a famous quote where he said, "You never actually finish a record; you just abandon it." It's just eventually you're just like, you could just keep going forever because you're always going to write one more song and you're almost done, and then you write another song and you're like, oh, maybe that's better than this one, and you start playing songs for friends and family and being like, well, asking them to rank it, and they're like, well, I like all of them,
Yeah.
You just never really know. You can't make like a 22 album or a 22 song album, so you just kind of have to pick what feels right and go with it.
Like while you're on tour, do you ever, or while you're playing the songs when you're, performing, do you ever like change it up a little bit and like decide that, you wish that you could have like put that one on the record? Or
Oh yeah. All day long. Yeah, like there'll be something. I mean, this is only our second show of this tour, but I bet by the time we're 5-6 shows in, we will have changed some little thing about one of the new songs, and I'll be like, why didn't we do that on the record? It's so cool.
Yeah.
But that's just the difference, of the studio and live. And I think that it should be that way. Like, you kind of want, if you go to a show, you don't want the artist to just play exactly what's on the record. You kind of want a little something different. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of your album, the first track is completely instrumental, and then there's, songs. And I was looking not even just listening to it, but also just like looking at the stories of each song. Did you mean for the album to be like one, like not one story, I guess, but just kind of like very flowed, like from beginning to end? I know you said it's about relationships. Is it like the beginning to an end of a relationship? Because I know the last song is Walk Away.
Yeah, and I was kind of conflicted on that. Like, it's obviously a very sad ending.
Yeah.
But it just felt I didn't really want to make a statement about certainly not making a statement about my relationship with my wife or anything like that with the way that the album ends, but it just felt like the right ending, more so on a musical level, but yeah, that was definitely the aim of the record, was kind of to make this album that kind of encompassed sort of this one relationship kind of feeling, the ups and downs and all the different angles of love,
And you've released quite a few albums.
Yeah.
For you, out of all of your albums, do you think that this one is your favorite, or is there one other one? Like, what is, like, who is, like, Jon Mclaughlin musical-wise? Like,
yeah. I think that this is the first album that I've put out that is, there are songs on past records where I would say, like, if you listen to my Indiana album, my first album, like, only listen to these tracks. Don't listen to, these tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the same on each album. As time goes on, I look back and I'm like, that second album I was in a phase, and that doesn't really represent me, I did a Christmas album last year that's just a total jazz record, which is one side of me, but it doesn't encompass the whole thing. I feel like this record is, it's the best album that I've put out, in my opinion. I think so, So you know, it's only taken me like 6 or 7 albums to finally get it down. But
Yeah.
this one kind of like, it sort of shows all the cards, you know.
Yeah. Well, you got there. You got there. And you're yourself.
I'm myself, finally.
Finally. Well, okay, so coming off of, you know, your last 2 songs being Let Go and Walk Away, what was the hardest thing you've had to let go or walk away of?
Oh my goodness. That's a tough question. Well, you know, I'm 33 years old now, so I've lived a little bit of life, you know. So there are certain, I would say at this point in my life and my career, it's hard to let go and walk away from the different phases, you know. Like I played with the same band for a good solid 8 years, you know, and there came a time where it just kind of felt like it was sort of the end of that era, and things needed to change, sort of for all of us, you know. And I still play with those guys here and there, but it's not what it used to be. And walking away from that was tough, you know, because it was like a tight-knit family, you know, and it felt like the end of a long run. But, you know, it's a good thing. It's like I've kind of experienced the necessity of just kind of living life, and you got to let go of some great times that are just, you can't drag them on forever, you know, then it kind of kills it. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think everyone can relate to that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then ending on a happier
Okay, good.
note.
Let's bring it back up.
So you've written, I know that you had the song in Enchanted.
Uh-huh.
What movie or TV show, if you could write a song for, what would you want to write a song for? Even if it's already like ended or been canceled, anything like that.
That's another good question. Well, I should clarify, I didn't write the song in Enchanted. So I could say I would love to write a song for a Disney movie.
Okay.
Well, I did have one song that I wrote for a Disney movie, but so let's check that off the list. So, gosh, that's a great question. You know, if we could somehow bring Seinfeld back on TV,
Yeah.
and then I could somehow have a song, and they could do another like ending, you know, a different ending than the way they ended it, and then I could write the song for the ending. That would be my ultimate. That was one of my favorite shows of all time.
Would you like to make a cameo in that?
Yeah, of course. And I could come in and I could sing it, and Jerry could do a duet. I would write his part.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any connections with that, but maybe we could make that happen.
I can work on it. I'll work on it.
Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Okay.
I'll have my people contact you.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, it was so nice to meet you, and good luck at your show tonight.
Thank you.
But I want you anyway.